Welcome back, guys. In previous lecture we have discussed about different types of electromagnetic type relays. We have seen plunger type or solenoid type, and we have seen many types of electromagnetic attraction type relays. Now let us find out what is the amount of torque that is producing in case of these attraction relays. Now we have two cases. One is DC operation. For DC operation, I have given signal as input signal as DC. For DC operation, what is the amount of torque that is generating? Let us see here. So let me give some notations here. Fe is the electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force that is generated in case of attraction type relays is directly proportional to I square. In previous class we have discussed the torque or force that is generated in case of attraction type relays is directly proportional to square times of, if it is current signal it is I square, or if it is voltage signal it is V square. Right. So that's why we can write the force equation is equal to K times that of I square. So this is electromagnetic force in case of attraction type relays. Now along with this electromagnetic force, I need to have a restraining force. So the restraining force I can call it as Fr, which is from either spring control or gravity control I can get. So that is I denoted like Fr is equal to K2. Under normal operating condition, the Fe, that means electromagnetic force, is less than this restraining force. During abnormal conditions, the electromagnetic torque will get increases beyond the restraining torque. So this is the condition to met operation of relay. Now let us see what is the nominal condition. That means we call it as margin. So what is the margin of operating force? So that is let me take as at margin electromagnetic force is equal to restraining force. That is K1 into I square. I denote this as K1 and restraining force constant as K2. K1 into I square is equal to K2. Now from this expression I can get I value is equal to square root of K2 divided by K1. So this is the amount of current margin in case of attraction type relays. If the current is beyond this constant, if the operating coil current is beyond this constant, so the relay will sense this current and give signal to circuit breaker to trip. So this is DC operation. Let us check AC operation. So for example, always force is directly proportional to square times of current, right? But in case of AC, the current is Im sin omega t. Im sin omega t. And now F is directly proportional to Im square sin square omega t. Im square and sin square omega t. Sin square omega t we can divide in terms of 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. Okay, so if you split that, the Fe force will be equal to, which is K times of I square. Here I is the sinusoidal one, that is Im sin omega t. So if you split this sin square omega t, it is 1 minus cos 2 omega t. So that is by 2. So that is 1 by 2 times of, if you take in constant 1 minus, right? So half into K Im square. The other term is cos 2 omega t. Cos 2 omega t. So this is the force developed in case of AC. Force developed in case of AC. So by observing these two quantities, this is the fixed one, fixed in the sense it is directly it is depends on only current, right? But if you observe this, this is a cosinusoidal component. It will vary sinusoidally with respect to time and frequency, right? So that too, we have two times of frequency here. It is varies double the supply frequency. It will vary double the supply frequency. So these are two components. The first one is independent of time, which is this. This is independent of time, and the second quantity is pulsating at double the frequency. Pulsating with double the frequency. With double the frequency. Now, in this case, the total force thus pulsated double the frequency. We are just combining, right? So at the result, the total force will be doubles the varies in double frequency. And if the restraining force Fr, which is produced by the spring, is constant, then the armature of relay will be picked up at time t1 and it drops off at time t2, right? Let us see here. For example, I am taking a sinusoidal supply, that is Im sin omega t, as I have shown previously. This is my supply current, Im sin omega t, and we have restraining quantity, right, which is a constant one. Restraining quantity Fr, let it be. Now if we have given this supply to AC relays, it will produce two components of currents. That is, one is fixed component and the other component which is pulsating with double the frequency. So if we combine those two, for example, this is the half into k times of Im square, half into k times of Im square, and we need to subtract minus half k times of Im square cos 2 omega t from this, right, from this constant. Now if you add like that, the waveform will be developed like this. In one time period, we can observe two pulses. That means it is frequency of resultant force. This is total electromagnetic force, which has two times of supply frequency, right? Now whenever the relay will give the signal only when Fe is greater than Fr, right? Fe is greater than Fr. At time 0 and up to time t1, let it be time t1, up to time t1, the force which is developed by relay will be lesser than restraining force, right? So there is no in between 0 to t1 there is no production of torque. So the relay will not work. But in between time t1 to time t2, let it be time t2, in between time t1 to t2, there only Fe is greater than Fr, then the relay will be operates. Now so this is happened for every for every cycle, right? So here also same thing, here also same thing, like that, like that. So for some portion of time it will giving relay operation or it will giving torque, but in some portion of time it was not providing sufficient torque. So because of this, the vibrations will be happen, the vibrations will be happen in the relay. So if this happen, if this vibration happen, the relay may get damaged easily. So that is the doubling effect, we call it as doubling effect in case of AC, if you are using for electromagnetic relays. So the same one we can observe in measurements also, that is MI, moving iron type instruments will be affected with doubling frequency effect. So that is the drawback of electromagnetic attraction type relays. Then how we need to eliminate this effect? Is there any remedies? Yes. So for example, if we are taking two quantities, for example this is the one quantity I have already taken, that is Fe is one quantity, and if I have taken the other quantity in terms of which is lags or leads, some phase difference has to be there. If you have taken two quantities which has some phase difference, okay, now observe here, I am just taking another quantity. So it is current I have taken. So from current the flux has been developed, and the flux interacts with current will produces force, right? So here we have two quantities. For example, if you observe this, from T1 to T2, the first one, the red color portion will be useful to generate force, resultant force, because Fe is greater than Fr, right? After T2, because of providing another quantity which lags or leads from the main quantity, right? So auxiliary quantity I can said. So that is second thing, that is the second quantity. So if you observe, based on this second quantity what I have taken, so the force will be developed is a continuous process. The force has been developed in a continuous process. For example, I am taking like this, I am redrawing this. So having time on x-axis, on force, resultant force on y-axis, Fr resultant force. So let it be restraining force Fr, and my resultant quantity is always like this. The resultant quantity is always like this. So that is my resultant quantity. So this quantity is greater than Fr, right? This is Fr. This quantity is greater than Fr. So there is a continuous availability of torque. So we have eliminated vibrations, right? We have eliminated vibrations, and by having a continuous torque, the stability of the relay will also be increased, right? So this is the methodology to avoid doubling effect in case of electromagnetic attraction type relays. So these can be done in two ways. That means we are just splitting We are just splitting the fluxes, right, electromagnetic flux in two quantities by using whatever method, right? So now by splitting these two quantities and by having the phase difference between these two quantities, the resultant force has been developed without any vibrations. Now let's see what are the forces, or what are the methodologies to increase, or avoiding doubling effect. Before going to that, let us see the key points. So does the relay armature pulsates at double frequency? This causes the relay to hum and noise, combinedly humming noise. The relay will provide humming noise because of this double frequency what I have discussed, and it may cause to damage to the relay contacts because of these vibrations. And to overcome this difficulty, the air gap flux producing by electromagnetic quantity is divided into two fluxes by having some phase delay. So I have shown, by having some phase delay, we are divided into two fluxes. So this causes resulting the electromagnetic force is always positive. The resultant electromagnetic force is always positive if this is greater than restraining force. The relay will not vibrate at all. And this phase lag between two components, whatever I have discussed, can be easily produced by shading band or by using two different coils. We will see in next slide. The flux through the shaded poles lag behind the flux through the unshaded part. Let us see what are the methodologies to avoid pulsation or doubling effect. So the first one is electromagnetic relay with shading band. So here, I have cut one electromagnetic core into two different parts, right? So one will be remain like this only, but for another I have placed a shading ring, if you observe. So this is the shading ring which I have been placed on the half of the core. So that is the shading ring, copper shading ring I have taken, right? So because of this, what happened, whenever I have given supply either voltage or current to the coil, it will generate a flux, and here because of having this separation, this flux will be divided into two parts. Now what happened here is, here there is a copper shading ring, right? So because of that copper shading ring, it is a closed one. So whenever the flux is cut through this shading ring, there is a production of EMF, and because of it is closed path, there is a production of current as well. There is a production inside the shading ring, so that it will also generate flux. It will also generate some amount of flux, which is, according to Lenz's law, the effect oppose cause, right? So the flux is generated by shading ring, that is Fs, will be opposite to main field flux, like this. If it is in this direction, it is opposite direction. Now with the result, the flux, the shaded flux, that means the flux passing through the shaded region will be lag behind main flux. So by having these two quantities, for example, this means unshaded pole flux and this is shaded pole flux. So what I have said, shaded pole flux will be slightly differs the unshaded pole flux because of having this shading band. Now let us observe. For example, this is my unshaded portion of flux. If this is a unshaded portion of flux, now the shaded pole flux Fs will be slightly lags with respect to main field flux or other flux phi u. So because of the having shaded ring, and inside the shaded ring Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. So because of that induction effect, it will creates volt EMF. That means EMF is generated inside the coil, shaded coil or shaded ring, and because of this EMF, current will be generated, and because of this current, the flux will be generated, which is the generated flux. That is effect oppose cause according to the Lenz law. That's why the Fs shaded flux will be slightly lag behind unshaded portion flux. So in this way, we have attained two types of flux with having time delay, so that the resultant flux force will be developed by these two fluxes is a continuous one, which avoids doubling effect. So this is the one case. Now let us come to the second method. So in this, this is the electromagnetic relay with two windings, right? So instead of having only one winding on a core, we have placed two windings on a same core, and the second winding is connected with a capacitor. And first winding is directly connected to supply itself, right? So that is the difference. Because of this, there are two currents. For example, I have taken this from same supply, right? So I have taken V as reference. The phi 1, that means flux is generated from the coil which is directly connected to the supply, will be lag behind voltage by an angle of some phi 1. And the coil which is connected with capacitor, the flux will be leading because of capacitor leading effect. So that is like this. So as I2 is leads, phi 2 is also lead with supply voltage. So the resultant fluxes, that means phi 1 and phi 2 will have a phase difference of some phi, total phi, let it be phi, right? So some phase difference of phi. I1 and I2 are displaced with a phase difference of phi. So because of having this phase difference, we will get a continuous flux, that avoiding doubling effect. So this is the second method. So among these two methods, the with shading band only, the method with shading band only, rugged construction and better operation compares to having two different windings. So it is not at all useful. So that's why always this method is shading band method is always useful for avoiding doubling effect. Now let us see advantages of electromagnetic attraction relays. The first one is it can be used for AC and DC, right? Except polarized electromagnetic attraction relay. So remaining three, that is plunger type or Hingit type or balanced beam type. These three are can be used for AC and DC. And these relays are faster in operation and fast reset operation because of having less gap between the contacts. And also they are light in weight. They are also light in weight. So because of this, the inertia will be less and it can be operate very fastly. So that is the second advantage. And it has very less VA burden. It has very less volt ampere burden. Volt ampere burden in the sense, it is the additional power consumed by the meter to operate. Right. So this is the amount of power that is consumed by the any equipment to operate. So that we call it as burden, volt ampere burden. Right. So for 0.1 to 0.4 amperes, only 0.2 to 0.6 volt ampere burden is there only. That means it is volt ampere burden in case of electromagnetic relay is very less. And electromagnetic attraction relays are almost instantaneous because I was also said, so it will operates faster, right? So it will be operates very faster. That's why it is used for instantaneous relays. And though it is instantaneous, the operating time will be varies with current. We have seen the graph between current and time. And for example, there is an additional advantage in case of this. For example, if you want to provide, these are instantaneous relays only, but if you want to provide any time delay, we have a provision by using equipments like dashpot, oil dashpot, and copper ring, we will achieve some delay. We can achieve some delay by using oil dashpot and copper ring, right? So because of using oil dashpot, the oil has some viscosity, right? So because of this viscosity, there will be some time delay will be provided, right? So these are the methods to provide time delay for electromagnetic relays. And the last advantage is it is very compact in size and simple in operation, reliable and robust. So these are the advantages of electromagnetic attraction type relays. Now let us see the disadvantages as well. In case of electromagnetic attraction type relays, there is an absence of directional property. So this is one of the disadvantage. And the second one is, due to faster operation, the working can be affected by the transients. So there may be a production of dampings as well because of faster operation. So as transients contain DC as well as pulsating component under steady state value less than the set value, the relay can operate during transients, right? So ultimately, because of having faster operation, there will be a transients or dampings that is produced inside a electromagnetic attraction type relays. Now, so these are the advantages and disadvantages of electromagnetic relays. If you summarize this session, firstly we have seen what is electromagnetic attraction type relays and the types of electromagnetic attraction type relays. Those are plunger type or solenoid type we have discussed, and Hingit type attraction relay we have discussed, and balanced beam type. It can be balanced beam also can be useful for differential relay as well. And the last one is polarized moving iron relay. After that we have seen the operation with DC as well as AC, right? Now after that we have seen some methods to avoid doubling effects as well. And the last one are we have seen advantages and disadvantages of electromagnetic attraction type relays.